Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Back, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for June 16th, 2019. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I accidentally called my father way too early this morning. I don't know what happened, but I had a cell phone misfunction. I was going down my stairs, watching my cats run down the stairs before I go down. So we have this thing every morning, they run down, and I'm following them, and I noticed that one of their toys, one of the like ribbons ones, they'd pulled up and was halfway on the stairs. So I was trying to avoid the wand part, which is hard. I didn't want to step on it. And all of a sudden I hear this voice saying, hello, hello. And I look down and my mom has answered my father's cell phone. I didn't mean to call them. Anyway, it was like 7:45. I felt really bad. Like, sorry. They were getting ready for church, but it was still funny. I was like, I hadn't or accidentally dialed anybody in a really long time. So that was my start to Father's Day. Anyway, so I got to tell them early, but it was still kind of not exactly what I expected. Anyway, so, that was a side story. Anyway, so now I'm going to talk about the books that I read this week, the ones that I DNF'd because there are quite a few, books I gave up on, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. I'm only in the middle of one thing, and so I didn't really think, anyway. And needless to say, I'm at a point where I have to choose my next book to read, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to show the last of the library books. So as you know, I had a lot of library books out this week, and I made a video about it, and I just made a choice. Finally by Wednesday, I had kind of 20 is too many books for me to have out from the library at one time. I know some people have so many more. I mean, again, when I asked my librarian and they said it was 100 I could have out at a time, I was kind of like, oh no, that's scary. So I don't read fast enough to have 20 books out from the library at one time. So I made some cuts. I decided I was much more strict with myself, as in, once I was not enjoying something, I decided this is not a book I want to read right now, I just set it aside. And then I set aside 5 books that I was just like, I'm not going to touch these. They're going back. One of them because I didn't like the first couple pages. The rest of them were because I'm just not going to read them. So we'll go through the ones I actually did read a little bit of. Like, I mean, one of them I only read like 27 pages, but the rest of them I've made like, at least, over 50 to 120 pages before I DNF'd, plus what I read. It was a really weird reading week. So we'll just go through. This is what happens when I have too many library books, and then I just kind of get to the point where I'm tired and I just want to get rid of them all. So I'm really close to that. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so the first book though I did finish on Sunday was Simon R. Green's Till Sudden Death Do Us Part. Now I was really afraid this would be the last book in this series because of what was going on in this. Ishmael Jones is the main character. He's telling the story. He is, they're kind of British mystery manor murders, country manor murders with mystery. Oh God, I cannot talk today. Okay, British country manor mysteries with a paranormal twist. So these are fun. This is number 7, and I've enjoyed all of these. I buy them as they come out in paperback, so they're really far behind. The 5th one is just about to come out in paperback. I'm probably going to order that here this week because I think it comes out in July. But this is number 7, so they're kind of far behind paperback because he brings these out every 8 or so months. It's been pretty good. So I was afraid this is the last one. It was not. So luckily I think I'm going to get at least one more. But this one was a little bit different. Usually he works for an organization called The Organization that sends him out to these places where something paranormal is going on. Usually people are dying from something, and he and his partner Penny go and figure stuff out. And this one was a little bit more from a shot from his past and also dealing with his own kind of nature. I really enjoyed this. It's not one of my favorites of the series, but it was still a good solid one. Because I was not sure how this is going to go. I did kind of call the end. Like I kind of had a clue. this time. And I don't usually, on these ones are usually too weird that I can't figure it out, but this one I actually kind of was like, oh, I bet it's going to go that way. And it did, but I liked it, like, cause it made sense. Does that make sense? Yeah, anyway. So, I mean, so again, it was not my favorite one, but I still really enjoy this series. It's just fun. As I said, these are like 180 pages, 190 pages, and they're just fun. They're quick reads. I really enjoy those. Then I picked up Monsoon Mansion by Sanelle Barnes. So this is talking about this woman's, it's a memoir about her growing up in the Philippines in this mansion that her parents, when she was born, you know, could afford and had servants and lived pretty much the high life. And they were pretty high in society because, you know, he made a lot of money from oil companies in like Saudi Arabia and stuff. He was a recruiter for getting Filipinos to go over and be a workforce over there. So they had a lot of money, and then when the Gulf War happened, it just pretty much destroyed them. So they had this mansion, and it just kind of shows the downfall of the family, of their fortunes. And then, so I liked the beginning, and again, I'm not saying anything against like, because it's a memoir, you know, some people are like about wanting to say it's not her experience that I'm saying I don't like. It really was the writing style in this. I think it was very easy to get into. I just I got 124 pages in, and I just got like, I'm like, okay, you know, I'm pretty much done. And I think it's because the beginning felt, even though she was a young child, she had all these really vivid memories, which again, it's hard for me to understand that. I don't have those as a child. I mean, I have certain things, but you know, I can't say that my memory is quite this clear. And again, I know she gave a note in the beginning saying about creative nonfiction and that kind of stuff. And so I think that's kind of where I had problems with this, is that to me, it felt too creative on remembering what happened to her. And I got to the middle part where things are really getting bad, but I was having trouble, I mean, just, I don't want to say connecting, but really I did. I felt like her, even though her younger years, I didn't quite buy that she remembered all that. It was very clear, the things that were happening, I could feel her emotions. And then I got kind of the middle, and it was a little different. It wasn't quite the same for me. So I put this down. I just did not continue. So I'm not saying this would not work for other people. I really wanted to enjoy this, and I really wanted to read this, but I also know I don't read many memoirs. And again, I think it's because of the, you know, the creativeness. Again, it's not like it's bad writing. I just meant it really is. It's just that whole, it's supposed to be real, but they're not quite remembering everything. So the timelines are off, and they, you know, put things together. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. Anyway, I didn't quite enjoy that one. I did DNF The Lighthouse by Allison Moore, which I forgot to take my bookmark out, so I better do that now. So I only got about 57 pages in this, about 2 weeks ago. So this is going back to the library on its due date. I just didn't care. And nobody told me to go ahead and keep reading, so I didn't read it. It's gone. Okay, so here was the more disappointment of the ones that I read this week, is Witchmark by C.L. Polk. I've seen this around. I've seen it win awards and things, and so it's not, well, I would say it's kind of a alternate history. I'm not quite sure. The country names are different, so it could be like really just a fantasy, but it's kind of like, looks like our world, but there's a little bit of magic in it, and there's a little different structures. And it's talking about after a war between two countries, and how the magic here is different. There's like one person who does the magic and the other one who they siphon off their powers for to help the magic. And I liked a lot of this, but this was one of those ones where they drop you into the story. And again, I understand dropping you into into things to get you into it, but this one didn't do it right, I don't think. There was too many open or things that didn't make sense. And it wasn't like I'm not intelligent enough to pick up things. It was such a slow reveal on certain things. I don't understand why we weren't kind of clued into something earlier. So I only made it 120 pages in. By then I was getting upset with the main character and how he dealt with the people who were trying to manipulate him and stuff. And I guess that's just me. But I think a lot of people have loved this, so do not take what I say as, that's. I think there's a lot of good things to it. I liked some of the premise, and I liked some of the things. I know what it was. It was really the backstory of the main character with some other characters seemed like that was more interesting to me than the main story. And I wanted to know more about why he ran away. I mean, that's told right away that he left to join the army, and his family presumes he's dead because of where he went. But I did not enjoy this as much as I was hoping. And so again, I about 120, I was just like, I don't care anymore. So that's gone, which is sad. As I said, I hear that a lot of people like that, and I know it's a series and it's the first book in that, but I'm just not gonna continue. It just didn't work for me. So then I picked up The Lake by Banana Yoshimoto. I read Asleep a couple of weeks ago, also a library book. But this is the one I've been searching for because this is an actual novel. Most of her stories are, I would say, novellas. They're long pieces, but they're not long enough to be a novel. And they usually combine three or two of them into her collections. So this one, though, was one whole novel. And although I'm much more interested in longer pieces rather than novellas, I think her form is a novella. She writes so much tighter when it's a novella length. This was really good in a lot of the places. I really enjoyed this story. It's about a young woman whose mother has recently passed away, and she's dealing with that grief. She starts a relationship with her across the street neighbor. They can see each other in their windows in Tokyo, and they just kind of start really slow, and then they start living together. And it's their relationship, and he has a lot of baggage from when he was younger. A traumatic thing happened, and so he has his own issues. She's got hers from dealing with her grief and other things that are going on. And then there's this really sweet line about art, and then kind of some psychic stuff that's thrown in. She always has some kind of magical realism or something in there that's kind of a little different. I really overall enjoyed this. It's not my favorite. I think still the collection of Kitchen and the other book story that's in that novel are still, to me, the most poignant with her grief in those. But she just writes grief so well. Like, you understand that person even though they have different personalities in all the stories that I've read from her so far. And I'm really looking forward to picking up more of her stuff. As I said, I'm just going to do a little bit more. I should probably have had a little bit more space between this one and Asleep. But I found this, as I said, at the library, and I was so excited because I've been looking for it physically, but I did not find it until now. So I still really recommend her stuff. And again, this is Japanese, so it is translated from the Japanese by Michael Emmerich. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I have issues with it, but not... As I said, I just think she's much better at keeping it tighter and shorter. She's just very good at that. And it's not like, usually that's not what I want, but I felt like this story suffered just a teeny bit by being long. But again, it's only 180 pages. It wasn't very long. 188 pages. So, it's not super long. Then I picked up The Hen Who Dreams She Could Fly by Soon Mi Hwan. Or, I don't know. Huang? I don't know. Anyway, this is translated from this Korean by Chi Young Kim, and the illustrations are by a Japanese artist called No Monko. And this is just, it was a cute book. I seen this one, what did I see this on recently? Ange Beyond the Pages. And so I got it from the library just thinking, oh, well, I will check it out. And I said, I've never read any South Korean authors before that I can think of. Maybe I have, and I know I have a couple books on my shelf that are South Korean, and I just have not read any yet. So this was pretty much my first one that I can think of. Maybe I have in the past and I just don't remember. But this was the story about this hen who names herself Sprout, and her journey of being a hen in the coop, you know, that produces eggs, and wanting to become a mother. And it's a very like a fable kind of story of, you know, and telling of her what happens when she does get out, and her dealing with the other animals in the farmyard, in the barn, and then when and the weasel. Anyway, there's other things. I think it was a really good story. I can see why this has been has sold millions of copies. It has really cute illustrations, which is why I mentioned the illustrator, just because. Let's see. I was just gonna find one. Just probably not, but you know, it's just like there's some like simple little drawings, but they kind of add to it. Just, you know, like, I don't know. They're just good. Anyway, so I thought this was really cute. It didn't take me very long to read. I did enjoy this, so that was fun. I then tried for the second time to try to read Rogue Protocol by Martha Wells. Now, I don't know what it is with these. I loved All Systems Red. It's the Murderbot Diaries. So the first book is awesome. I love that book. I have it on ebook somewhere. And I guess on my Kindle. But and then I read Artificial Condition, which was the second one, and I liked it, but I didn't love it as much as the first one. This one I have tried to read twice now, and I just don't know if Murderbot novellas are for me. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So I don't know if I was just not in the mood for science fiction, and I put this down. I read 27 pages, and I think I read about 20 pages last time from the library trying to read this, and I'm just not interested. I don't know why. I mean, I know that they're good. Other people have liked them, and I liked the second one okay, but the first one was really the one I liked. So I don't know. I think I'm going to give this a try another time. Right now, just not calling me. So it's going back to the library. I guess I just have no patience for it. And then last night, I finished Sweet Bean Paste by Duran Sukigawa. And this is translated from the Japanese. Oops. By Allison Watts. So this was really, this is another really good Japanese contemporary novel. Now, I found when I was reading this, I realized that I read a lot of Japanese, contemporary Japanese novels, which I think is kind of funny because I don't get along with them, with American ones, at least right now. And I think that's really kind of funny. But I also am kind of reaching my limit. I've read quite a few of these recently, so I might have taken a little break and not read something, even though I have some more on my shelf that I want to read. Anyway, we'll see. But this is the story. Oh, you know, I can never remember how his name went. It's Sintaro. He works at a shop that makes, it was like little like pancake treats kind of things that has this sweet bean paste inside of it. And he meets an old woman who is looking for, to work there, and she teaches him how to make this sweet bean paste. And it's just, that sounds ridiculous. But it's more of a talking about people and connections, and especially people who have trouble making connections because of their past or what they've been through. And it was I think it was a really sweet novel. It was heartbreaking in the end, but I kind of knew that was coming. But I did like the way this went. I mean, I have one little quibble about the end that I wish they'd kind of give a little bit more, but that was so little that it really didn't change my feelings on this. I really, really enjoyed this. I'm glad I got this from the library too, even though I've read a lot of Japanese stuff recently. So, but I do recommend this if you like Japanese contemporary stuff. Hey, Cooper. Hey. Hey. Scratching on my chair. Anyway. So, I recommend that, but I'm glad I got that from my library as well. And then just something I looked at. I did not read a whole bunch. I read part of the beginning, which is the more stuff, but I didn't go through every single one. And this is Bats, an illustrated guide to all the species. So I did not go through and read about because they have like every single bat, and they have like little, talking, and where I liked where were they from and what they look like. Look at them. Anyway, I'd read part of the beginning part, which is more telling more the nature stuff about bats and their sonar and or their they're being able to sonic waves and stuff. And I'm not thinking what I'm thinking right now. Anyway, but this I really found, I just kind of glanced through it. I'm going to take it back so somebody else who might really be into that can read it. But yeah, that was just fun. That was by, I forgot to say, Marianne Taylor, and then Merlin D. Tuttle is the one who did all the pictures. And it's really gorgeous. I mean, bats are not the prettiest animals, but it showed so many pictures of all the different types. It was just really good. And then just to flash, just to let you know, but these are the library books that are going back that I just decided this is not the time for me. As much as I would like to try The Lost Man, it's just right now my brain is not going towards that. I will try this another time, and also somebody else wants it. It's somebody is on, it's on hold, or so it's due today, so I'm taking that back. I didn't like the beginning of Bliss House, didn't like that. Crudo, I didn't like that. I didn't like the start of that, so I got rid of that. Vigilance by Robert Jackson Bennett. I just decided this is not the time. Obviously science fiction isn't doing it for me right this minute. And then a short story collection from an East African. I don't like short stories much, and I did try to read these. I read the first couple and I was just like, they're just not for me. So those are all going back to the library. And so then really quickly, sorry. So the thing I'm in the middle of right now, the only thing I've started is What Did You Eat Yesterday by Fumi Yoshinaga. And I don't know who the translator is. It's not going to tell me, is it? I'm sure it's in here. They don't actually release translation. Maya Rosewood. Okay, so this is an interesting story about two gay men in Japan, and it's talking about, it's really food heavy. But I've been meaning to pick it up just to see what it's like. I've only read the first section, so I've only read part of it. So we'll see what happens. It's a cute manga. So that's the only thing I'm like in the middle of. I'll probably finish that up probably today. I might take it back so you might not see it next week if I finished it and take it back to the library. We'll see. I am going to try Black Butler by Yana Toboso. This was translated by Tomo Kimura. So anyway, I've heard good things about this. I'm still haven't tried it yet though. So that's one of the things I want to try. And then the books that I have that are on my immediate horizon are Hot in Hellcat Canyon by Julie Ann Long, which is the book, the June book for the summer romance book bingo that Sarah at Steeped in Books is doing. So I'm going to give that a shot. I'm not sure how it's going to go because, again, me and contemporaries, And then I want to try The White Book by Han Kang, which, again, is also Korean. And I think that's is translated by Deborah Smith. So I want to at least try that. I'm not sure if I'll get through that. I also have An Extraordinary Union by Alyssa Cole, which is a Civil War romance novel. So we'll see. I hear these are really good. So that's for the summer romance bingo. To get some things. And then the book that I probably am going to pick up next, which is Beautiful Revolutionary by Laura Elizabeth Willett. This is, again, the book that I asked my library to buy, so I got first dibs on it. So I would really like to get to this because it's due next week. So this is about a woman who gets involved with the People's Temple. And so we'll see if I don't know if she actually gets to Jonestown or not, but I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. So I don't know. I haven't really looked at it, so it was a good idea. Anyway, so those are kind of what's in the horizon. All the rest of these books are going back to the library. So I only have, so this leaves me with 6 out from the library, and I think I have 1 book to pick up. So then I'll only have 7 out, which is great. That's a number I can handle. You know, 5 to 10 is about normal. So anyway, this was super long because I went through a lot of books. So, how are you guys doing? Are you guys using your library as much as I am? I've, as I said, overused it. I'm trying to get myself away from now, finish these off, and actually read books I own. Have you guys had weeks like that where you just DNF like several books in a row, or just, I have something to do with library books is I have less tolerance or patience. Like if I just get bored, I get bored and I stop and I go, well, it's a library book. I don't have to worry about it. I don't know. For some reason, if I own it, I usually push through a little bit farther or on more. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I do find that library books, I'm more apt to just stop reading them once I'm like, I don't care anymore. Anyway, so I have a lot to take back to the library today. What are you guys reading? Anything good? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.